the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
Hooker in fall camp, and it looked like it was going to be Joe Milton's team. And then you throw Hendon Hooker in there, and you're like, oh, this is different. And we're going to Hendon now. And Hendon's your best quarterback of any Tennessee quarterback in the 21st century. So it's like the rest is history. I just feel like you throw him in there, and I think Jake, to me, like you said, I don't think he has the ceiling that George has or Faison coming in next year, but his floor might be a lot higher, and he might be safer, especially in a year where you might need a high floor guy, where he's, I don't know. I think there is just some high floor variance with him that I would trust and would not be surprised if he works in that way.
Yeah, no, I would definitely say that Jake does have the highest floor of all three of those quarterbacks. But as far as the practice compared to game stuff, I don't know, just because I haven't, obviously, we watched like the spring practice clips and all that. Everything that we heard leading up to the orange and white game is that, man, Jake looks really good in practice. We heard that G-Mac, he's struggled some days he looks good. But when it comes down to the orange and white game, to me, George looked better. Now, I know that they weren't going up against the same units, but just from the way that they're operating, I thought that George kind of balled out more than what Jake did. So I don't know. I mean, that's something that it would be hard for me to say. But as far as the floor, I definitely think that Jake gives you that highest floor.
When you look at film study here, Bull, like this is something that I'm very, very curious about is next year, because this is Joshua Joseph's show now. This is year 4. There's no Pierce anymore. Like, this is your chance to vault yourself into first, second round guy off the edge. And he's got a lot of talent. They used him all over the place. Like, he was standing up. He was in like some linebacker spots last year. Like, Gardner and company had a lot of fun moving Joshua Josephs all around the line of scrimmage. Yeah. I'm curious, though, for you, do you see him being a 7-sack plus guy this season? Is that something that he can reach, or do you just feel like he's a rotation guy and he just doesn't have that same ceiling that Pierce or maybe even Jordan Ross has?
I think that Jordan Ross has a higher ceiling than Joshua Josephs does. I don't know if he's going to get to that ceiling this year, but I think that Joshua Josephs, he's got some good talent. If you think to whenever he came in with James Pierce, Joshua Josephs was the guy that everyone looked at and say, hey, he's going to be the sack leader. But, it turned out differently. So if he turns that page this season, and I think that he could get to about 7 sacks. Would I put money on that? I don't know. I don't know that I would do it just yet. I think that for him, his game is more about stopping the run. He can get the pressure. Can he find ways to close more? And I think that all of our guys need to try to close better than we did last season. If you look at James Pierce, he had the highest pressure rate, but he only had like 7 sacks, 8 sacks. So if he closed better, same thing with Joshua Josephs. These guys will rack up those sacks, but we're going to find ways to manufacture pressure to get them isolated, to get them close to the quarterback. So I don't know. I think that he could be one of those 7-sack guys this season. But I do think that the best pass rusher this year is probably going to be Tyree West or maybe Jordan Ross.
I think they really need Tyree West to be that guy on the opposite side. I think they really miss Tyler Barron across from James Pierce this past year. And if Tyree makes that jump over Dominic Bailey, I think they have a couple spots like that, right? Where I think they probably start with Jeremiah Thielander with Arian Carter, but I think you hope that Spillman passes him sooner rather than later. That like the best version of Tennessee's linebacker core is Spillman and Arian Carter getting the most amount of snaps together. Would be I think that's your preference. I think just the upside of those two is just the highest of anyone in that room right now. Yeah. And then I think the same is true with Tyree West on the opposite side. Like, I think you like Dominic Bailey, but you kind of maybe want to slide him inside more because you're kind of thin there anyway. And he just doesn't have the kind of pass rush chops that guys like Tyree West has. And I think Tyree West still has that kind of playmaker mentality on the opposite side. And I mean, he flashed a little bit last year, but I think you just need more consistency out of him there. But I also think, I was talking to Brent Hubbs of AllQuest about this, of like the possibility of the Rabbits package on third down being Jordan Ross on the opposite side, and you go Ross on one side and Josephs on the other. Maybe that's the solution to when you send 4 is like, maybe it's to get them on the field together is like, hey, Jordan, you're going to be in the Tyler Barron spot this season, and then when Josephs is gone next year, then we'll keep you at the Leo spot. But I don't know. What do you think of that? That's a possibility.
I love Tennessee's Rabbits package because if you do it like that, you got Josephs on one side, Ross on the other. Then who you're bumping inside? Maybe Tyree West. He did a great job of it last year. And then we've got really good pass rushing tackles. I love Bryson Easton's game. I love Jackson Moy's game. Who are we going to add from that portal? We talked about David Hobbs. David Hobbs he's another one. So we've got some really good options. That Rabbits package is going to be crazy. One of my questions would be, can we find a way to maybe run it not just on third downs, which we did some last year, but would we want to run that a little bit more? You know what I'm saying? I would love to do it just because it's almost impossible to stop those guys. So, yeah, I love that look.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty still optimistic because I think a lot of people are worried about losing Omar Norman-Lott, who I think is going to be an underrated loss for Tennessee and was probably...
Yeah. Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.